guys. Okay, so you all know my name, and I think most of you kind of know me. I travel so much that it's like I don't recognize all the faces anymore, which is really sad. But if you want to know me, you should just come up to me and I'll get to know you, just like that. Okay. No, I don't want red box movies. Joking, I have the right one. Anyway, so we were talking about servanthood, and when I was young, I wanted to go over to Africa, and everybody was like, okay, it's a phase, it'll go away, and well, for years and years and years it stayed, and I knew it was the calling from God. And so now I have been over twice, and it's weird to call myself a missionary, but many people do call me a teenage missionary. While I was over there, I did a lot of work with the people, and this was in Zimbabwe, Africa, where the people, it's a Shona tribe, Shona and Ndebele, and they are very sweet people. They're all village people, and it's like here in our society, we have our own houses, and we've got earbuds to listen to music, and laptops, personal laptops and cell phones, so a lot of the times you can spend all of high school with someone, or you can spend, years of going to church with someone and not ever actually know them. Whereas with these village people, they know each other. Like, they're just so sweet to each other, and they cook with each other, and they work with each other. If they're driving down the road, they'll be driving, and they'll just be going along, and they'll see someone that doesn't have a ride, and whether they know them or not, they'll pull over and say hop in, because they don't want that person to be walking. It's like everybody is helping each other out. Or if they're cooking, like in the church, on a regular basis, if the orphanage doesn't have enough food, then what happens is they say, okay, we need people to bring in mini meal, which is their staple food. It's ground up cornmeal. And they make something that's got the consistency of Play-Doh, which they eat, and they dip it in like tomato juice or something like that. But if they don't have enough, they just say, we need some. The next Sunday, you'll see people just bringing in bags of mini meal, even if it means that they're keeping themselves from eating, because they're sharing with everybody else. They make sure that even if one person doesn't have enough food, then that means everybody just has less food, but they still eat. They still get a ride. They still have a lot of things, a lot of help from each other. So they all have kind of naturally a servant's heart, because that's something that's born into them. That's something that they grew up in poverty. So it's like, we can't just decide, oh, someone else will help them, drive by a homeless person, or someone else, not me, or, maybe too many people are volunteering. I'm sure they have enough people, but it's not like that for them. They just help each other because they're all family. Even people who I've seen have maybe grudges against each other, they're still going to pick each other up on the side of the road. They don't care. They're really sweet to each other. So I was seeing this, and the first month that I went was back in November, and then I came again for over 4 months this year, April to August, and I started working with them. And a lot of the work that they do, like the kids, they have all these chores, like as compared to a lot of the kids here. I mean, they have to wash their clothes by hand, which is, I got blisters all over my hands when I first started doing it until my hands got soft, or got rough enough, but it's just really rigorous, and they have to do it every day in the sun. They have to, like, especially if you're washing a pair of jeans, it hurts your hands really bad, and the chemicals that they have to wash their clothes are hard, so it gets into your skin, and that's just something that they have to deal with every day. And a lot of the times the kids, if the younger kids don't have the ability to wash their clothes, then the teenagers take automatic, almost parental care over the younger ones. They say, okay, here, I'm going to take your clothes, I'm going to go wash them, it's okay if the kid's having a hard time. Or for the orphanage founder, his wife was in an accident, and so all of the teenage girls, she's not once had to wash her clothes, not because she told them to, but they just came in and they said, we want to wash your clothes. And so they wash her clothes every day, and this is just loads and loads and loads of clothes. And it takes about 4 big buckets of water to go through 1 load of laundry, and then you have to go and unload those huge buckets of water, which takes like 2 guys or 3 girls to carry. And it's just really hard. And then another thing that they do, I remember one day we went up on the mountain, and I love climbing the mountain. They look at it as like, why do you like climbing the mountain? This is just something we do. It's a chore. I mean, we go up there all the time. So we went up there because I asked them to, and they're like, okay, a weird American enjoys climbing mountains. We do it every day, So So we go up there, and I find some of the guys up there that I hadn't known had gone, and they were just chopping wood, singing Shona hymns up there, and they were sweating, and they were working really hard, and obviously they were sore because they'd been up there since early morning, maybe 5:30 or 6 a.m. And by now it was about 11. And so we were heading towards noon, and it was really hot. This was in November, and for them, their seasons are opposite than ours. And so even though it was cold here, over there it was maybe 105 or 7 while we were up there. And so they're up there singing along, chopping away, and they're all really happy because they have the servant's heart. And I get up there and I'm just like, how are you guys doing this? You know, like, they have so much energy, and not even just energy, but joy. They're not just doing it because they built up that endurance. They're doing it just because they're happy, and they know that they're providing for themselves and their brothers and sisters in the orphanage and the village. And I was like, okay, you know, so I got my breath, and I started doing it with them, and they're like, no, you can't chop wood. You're American, you don't chop wood. Like, they were trying to get me not to do any work, and I was like, no, I have to work alongside you. And this happened so many times, trying to help them cook, chop wood, wash clothes. Every time I'm like, no, you're American, you don't work with us, you know, we do the work for you, you visiting us. Like, they wanted to be as nice as they possibly could to me. But I was like, no, you don't understand. I want to be who you are. I want to be on the same level as you. I'm not higher than you. I'm not more special than you. I would like to sleep in the same rooms with you guys. I don't need special treatment. I want to know what you feel like. I don't want you to tell me how it's going to be. I'm going to tell you that I'm not anything different than you are, and I'm going to come and work with you. And they were like looking at me like, not really understanding what I wanted to do. And so I just took up an axe and I just started chopping with them, and they looked at me like, she's not listening to us. And so I just started working with them, and they eventually learned that that's all I wanted to do, is work with them and cook with them. And the cooking pots that they have are, I don't know how many gallons, but it's like one side would be here and then another side would be here, side to side, and it would go all the way down, like about this height. It's huge, and it's made out of cast iron. And so mixing this thing, you take turns with people with this huge stick that's maybe that big around, and you just mix and mix and mix until your back hurts, and then you switch with someone else. It's really hard work, but believe it or not, these kids and people, the village people, they just sing their hearts through it, and they just smile. And you know, one of the days before I left this year, there was a girl, a lady actually, she had a little son named Dias, and he was staying at the orphanage, not because she didn't want him, but because she couldn't afford to keep him, and so she came to visit him. And one of the last days before I left, she came all wrapped up with a broken shoulder and a broken elbow. And I said, what happened? And she said, oh, my husband gets drunk sometimes. And I said, that's not okay. You have to make sure this doesn't happen anymore. Dias needs you. This is not okay. And she's like, oh, it's happened before, you know, it's okay, I'll make it through. And I didn't know what to do, because as a visitor, I don't know enough about the people and enough about the culture yet. I'm still learning, and I couldn't go in and say, this is not okay, you can't do this, because in that culture, a lot of husbands who are not Christian can do that, and it's okay with them. And I was like, oh, what can I do? All I can do is pray, and it just made me feel kind of helpless. But what made me feel amazing, and something that even confused me a little bit, is that she was happy. She wasn't even like, oh, I hate my husband, or oh, I hate my life, or what am I going to do? She was just like, it's okay, God is going to take care of me, everything is going to be fine, I love Dias, my son, you know? And it was like, how can you do that? How can you just get hurt like that and have to go to the doctor and get wrapped up and not even question your husband, but just love God all the way along and love your son all the way along? And so the joy of the people and the servant's heart of the people is something that really just stroked me. And working with them opened a lot of doors. Like I said, they didn't really want me to work with them at first, but working with them, it was like they suddenly realized, oh, you know, she wants to do the same work as us, surprisingly. But okay, so they start seeing that I work hard, and I started explaining my life to them and some of the things that I'd gone through. And some of the kids started opening up to me. And they started telling me some things that they had never told anybody else in their life. And I started Bible studies with the girls called Trust Time. Some of you may not know, but most of the orphanage is made up of teenagers and preteens. And so it's like living within a high school. You live with these teenagers 24/7, and so you can imagine that there would be some drama. And I started working with the girls. And I asked one day, I said, how many of you have gone through an entire day where you need encouragement? You're working hard, you've got this servant's heart, you're helping each other, but you're not actually sharing with each other. And you go through the whole day needing encouragement, but no one encourages you. And you wonder, who could help me? Who could I encourage as well? And every single one of them raised their hands. And that's just something that really struck me. And I started working with them, and they started trusting each other. And the servant's heart that they have is just so open. They're so open to work with anything and just learn, and they're not afraid. That's just something that I really think lacks in a lot of people today, is openness and just being willing to just trust each other and being willing to encourage each other, being afraid to tell each other things like, oh, they can't, why did you post that on Facebook? Now everybody's going to be asking me what's wrong, or why did you tell that person that? Because now she's going to go tell someone else. But why should we be ashamed of what we're going through? Why can't we simply be servants to each other and to God and trust each other in the way that God would have us be family to each other as brothers and sisters in Christ? So I'm just learning a lot, and definitely not finished, but this is what I have to say so far. I am going to be teaching a lot that I learned in Zimbabwe. I have something called a Zimbabwe Day event that I'm putting together. We're going to be doing carrying water buckets on top of our heads like the girls did. We're going to have like teaching and competitions, and then chopping wood just with an axe, no chainsaws, and we're going to be doing cooking over fire and washing clothes with our hands, just to see, so you guys can experience that. And also, I have a lot of journal entries that are very personal, but I think that it's not worth keeping for myself, it's worth sharing, because if you don't share things, then what are they worth?